Stop! Before I start getting into Oneshot, I have a few quick words to say. Skip to this timestamp if you just want to get into the video. You're still here? Alright, so first of all, I'm going back to college this Wednesday. Unfortunately, that means I'll have a lot less time to work on videos for the channel, and I will also be doing away with the whole one video every 2 weeks thing that I've been doing over the summer. However, I will continue to post the one-shot series as usual until I finish the game because I just can't wait to keep playing this thing. Other than that, I currently plan on making one video for Helldivers 2 once it comes out on Xbox, and after that I'm putting all of my focus into finishing my Conquering the Depth series. Alright, enough said, let's get back into one-shot. Hello my lovely viewers. As you may have heard if you saw the post I made last Sunday, my microphone somehow managed to not connect to OBS Studio properly. And that means that my recording software did not record any mic audio throughout my entire recording session, which really sucks because I had some actually really good stuff that I wanted to use in this video, and now it's just gone because the studio just didn't record. I mean, I got the game audio, but there's no mic audio. Now, I'm not about to go back and try to record an entire voiceover of over 50 plus minutes because that would just be insane. Instead, this episode is just going to be me going over the key moments of the recording and summarizing what happened so y'all know what's going on during the next episode. And I'm going to try to make this relatively quick so as to not take up too much of y'all's time. With that said, let's get into it. So, after I booted up the game, I was once again treated by a dream sequence. This time though, it was Niko in a giant wheat field, looking around before seeing her village in the distance before waking up. We talked about our respective worlds for a few minutes before we get on with our mission. And it was just simple stuff like how Niko's never been to the ocean and I've never been to a wheat field so big you can't see its edges. Anyways, if you remember from last episode, we currently need to find a pin so we can get past this giant robot determined to uphold proper bureaucratic procedures, saving the world be damned. So that's our goal for now. First though, I took another look around the flooded ruins. Going back to Calamus and Alula's house, and the room that Alula was trapped in. Spoiler alert, there's nothing fucking there. Before heading back to where the plant girl is. Or well, I guess I should say was. Niko and I both had a miniature heart attack because the sun turned off. But as soon as she picked it up, the sun turned back on, which was quite a relief for both of us. From there, we headed over to that bird person with the hoard of stuff and traded the useless wool we got from the shepherd guy for a container of dye, which we then combined with a sacred feather to craft a makeshift pen, and we head back over to the giant robot. So with everything in place, Niko signs her name, and we venture into the city. Unfortunately, we ended up getting chased into the city by a bunch of those block things appearing behind us. But luckily, Niko didn't get hurt, and we made our way onto some kind of giant catwalk, accompanied by a needle drop of one of the best songs in this game's OST called On Little Cat Feet. Anyways, we eventually find another giant robot that tells us that we need to make our way down to the surface using an elevator, and then find a library and search for leads on how to scale the tower. The only problem? Elevator's broken. Turns out there is a button missing, which just happens to be the button that leads you to the ground. So now we gotta fix that, much to the, shall we say, displeasure of this homeless guy. Most of the next 30 minutes is just me exploring the catwalk and gathering stuff to fix the elevator, so I'll just give you the highlights. Found a cafe with a can saying coffee grounds and a rather talkative host. Discovered a bed I'll end up using later. Homeless guy kicks the door again and hurts his foot, and found a gentleman with a clock for a face. And Niko, being Niko, questioned how this gentleman could possibly tell the time, to which he said, "I have my ways." Found a tape dispenser, which will come in handy later. Went to this creepy vault-like area with a big locked door and a huge walkway on top of the building that's actually apparently just a big circle. Niko and I ended up having a pretty good talk while we were going around it. Then, we found another one of those weird computers that gave me a strange transparent sheet covered in numbers and said something about exposing it to the void, which I took as meaning I should throw it into one of those glitches, but that didn't quite work. So I gave up on that for the time being and went into an apartment building to do some mild breaking and entering. Unfortunately, a robot caught Niko and asked them if they're an intruder, to which we said, "No." For some reason, that was good enough for the robot, and it let us go on and continue intruding. So intrude we did, breaking into several other apartments, talking to people, saying hi to a haunted toy penguin, meeting a girl whose parents are never home, a robot with far too many game difficulty settings, another girl that apparently only speaks in Morse code, found a pair of scissors in a bathroom and turned my coffee grounds into grounds, met one of those bird people from outside with a ram named Betsy that apparently ate all of his plants, found some fridge magnets for the elevator button, a guy with a potted plant for a face. Wait. What? And finally, last but not least, Niko on a Roomba, yeah! Who says they aren't a cat? I also found a guy with a TV for a head that complimented Niko's drip and said to tell her mom he likes her mom's needlework, which only served to reinforce my resolve in getting Niko back home. Anyways, after that, it was a simple matter of magnetizing the button, taping it all together, and sticking it where it's supposed to go. Right? Well, shit. We need a security code, and it's probably on that weird film I got earlier. So, out of ideas, I go back to the computer and ask it for help. It calls me a stupid dumb baby that doesn't know how computers work before telling me to move the game window around to reveal the code I need. So I do just that, and what do you know? The code is 63014. That's what you know. We go back to the elevator, put the code in correctly on the first try, and end the recording there, planning to go down next episode. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that I have for you today. Next week, I'll make sure my mic is actually properly set up, and there's no funny business going on. Okay, bye.